Hello and welcome aboard, cadets. This is your host, Captain Kib, signing on today, and today we're going to be talking about the Battletech update along with the roadmap. So, they released a small update which fixes some minor bugs, but the big thing is they also released a post-launch roadmap. Now, we'll go through a couple of the bulletins here that they posted about things they're going to be improving via the next update in 1.0. I think it'll be 1.02 or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the exact version number it will be because they just released 1.0.1. So, compatibility, performance investigations. Basically, they're looking into the whole lag, the just lagginess and slightly frame rate droppiness of the game and the minor issues when it comes to just performance. Hopefully, they'll figure out something with that. They're also going to be doing general bug fixes. Sort of any sort of imbalances or, glitches. Maybe fix up the unit animations, hopefully. Especially for mechs that are rotating, because if anyone has noticed, they kind of just fucking snap to wherever you rotate them to. They'll also be adding localization for the French, German, and Russian languages. They're also going to be increasing customization and player options, which is going to be interesting. And we also get accelerated combat options. Now, this is going to be particularly interesting because I noticed a lot of people are complaining about this, of all things, which I find a little bit peculiar of the things to complain about, that the people complain about the combat being apparently too slow. I can see more options being useful, or the ability to skip certain animations altogether. And just with, like, for example, let's say you press spacebar and you just sort of skip entirely. Instead of seeing any sort of firing, and just bam, unit results. I guess, if you're feeling a little impatient, that would be nice. More Mech Warrior customization. Basically, how we can't currently customize our Mech Warrior pilots. Giving them names, call signs, and adjusting the profile, their profile pictures. Hopefully, we'll eventually be able to import our own images as well as own company images into, like, the Merc companies, but we'll see. They're going to add in more functionalities for Mech Warrior customization, make it a little bit more nice in that area. The one thing that I find peculiar, though, is they're going to be doing granular difficulty settings. So basically, a bunch of discrete little options here and there where you can adjust certain elements of the difficulty. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to work or what they intend. Like, is it like, do we have a campaign map difficulty modifier in terms of, like, cost expenses? Or is this like a combat exclusive difficulty? Like, how is that going to work? Granular. So there's going to be a multitude of segmented difficulty sliders? I'm not 100% certain as to what they mean by that. And this is the big one, another big one. Mech Lab, store, salvage, and quality of life improvements. Hopefully making it more easy to navigate back and forth, or make like a shopping cart while, you're in your Mech Lab when you're piecing together mechs. As well as maybe making so you can save preset variants, so you can make your own custom variants. That would be a nice functionality as well. So that's going to be a big one. The tutorial skip option, so you can skip the little prologue. That, along with the accelerated combat option, should speed up the initial part of the game for those who want to start another campaign and just try another one. That will be very nice. This is another big one, addressing difficulty spikes. For example, you notice how you'll have some missions where you'll be like, wow, this 2-skull mission is fucking easy. Then you'll get like a 1.5 skull mission and you'll be like, holy Christ, why are there fucking like 2 full lances supported by armor? They're going to be looking into that. Hopefully they're going to sort of fix it and make it actually feel that way. I think besides having the skull rating to sort of tell you what level of difficulty, maybe they should give us some intel, basically estimated enemy tonnage, something like that. And so we can get a rough estimate from the person who's giving us the contract. Like, we expect there to be approximately 250 tons worth of mechs and, 370 tons worth of tanks, or approximate like that. Anything to give us some slight intel before we accept a contract would be nice, and I think greatly appreciated, rather than getting some contracts where you're like, I can't handle that contract, and then you have to break the contract, which kind of ruins your fucking rating. Live streaming quality of life improvements, audio persisting when alt-tabbed, for example. That's just some minor stuff there. And the last thing they announced, now that's it for the next upcoming update, but the next big thing is they did mention that they're going to be working on some paid expansions. Now, they say the word expansions, so I'm imagining not fucking little unit pack, mech packs, I'm expecting like full-blown expansion packs, chunks of the map added, new missions, new story, new quest lines, new factions, new everything to explore, and a culmination, an expansion pack of, expansion content. Hopefully we're not going to get nickel and dimed, but, it is Paradox, who's the publisher. Hopefully HBS has a little bit more respect for us than that, because it's always fun how Paradox just nickel and dimes us for fucking basic mechanics. For example, I do hope that free updates that we will get along with this is like, what could you say? The ability to control multiple lances. One of my biggest pet peeves for the game currently, and that concludes all the update stuff by the by. One of my biggest pet peeves is the fact that we have like the Argo, right? And we have 3 dropship points, but we can't upgrade or buy different variants of dropships. Nor does the planetary gravity well affect the dropships. That needs to be changed. Planetary gravity well should impact the dropships we have to use for each planet and impact the amount of tonnage we can carry down to the surface, thus making it more tactical in that aspect. The ability to field multiple dropships would be another great step, I think, along with multiple lances in the battle zone. I think we should at least be able to field a minimum of 3 combat lances, each lance per fucking dropship, along with a support detachment of, either light armor or some heavy armor, along with the little fucking, what do they call them? The resupply vehicles like that deploy into scaffoldings. Do anyone remember Mech Warrior 2? Or no, not Mech Warrior 2, Mech Warrior 3. They had these little vehicles that would deploy 3 of them, and then they would refit and perform emergency field repairs on the ground. A problem I see in higher tier battles, and when you're facing multiple lances, is ammunition-based weaponry. It becomes a bit of an issue to use that because your ammunition will deplete relatively quickly before the battle is over. And I get that, but it should be nice. It would be a nicety if we had the ability to resupply on the battlefield, or have some sort of functionality or tacticality to that, as well as seeing more support craft in general. Like, for example, infantry combat needs to be a thing. The ability to have infantry or air support, things like that. More everything, in my opinion. Hell, even space combat should be a thing on all due technicality. But yeah, we'll see. We'll stay tuned for more Battletech news, but it's looking promising. It's looking very promising. This next update will be grand, and I almost want to not fucking record another episode until that, but we will actually just carry on anyways. So anyways, guys, thanks for tuning into this little quick update, and I hope you enjoyed. I look forward to seeing this Battletech update. Without further ado, dismissed.